This is the After Later Pixie. It's a Plates clone. Or Plats, however you say it. But this is not the focus of the video today. The focus is going to be on this cool looking thing right over here called the Clusterverb. So what you were hearing there is just the direct output of the Pixie. And now it's going to be going through the Clusterverb. This is made by Maneco Labs, which I believe is based out of Argentina? I think I have that right. If I'm being completely honest, I bought it because I thought it looked cool. Most of their modules have some really cool printed artwork on there that looks very similar to H.R. Giger's work, but this is a delay / reverb effect module, which might not sound terribly innovative and exciting, but if you notice, it says lofi delay reverb, and that's what makes this thing really interesting, I think. Now, worth noting that it is a mono effect, so delay and reverb coming out of this thing are just one channel. It's going to be mono. The fact that it's mono is not the only thing that makes it lo-fi, so let's start messing around with this. Right now I have the clock that's driving both my random harmonic sequence and the trigger, and everything's running from the same clock. So I'm going to turn up the delay here, and you'll notice these knobs have these cool skull things on them. I'm a sucker for a skull. Now, as I start turning this up, now the lo-fi is making more sense, because this module has a very low amount of headroom. So when you start pushing it, and it's not difficult to push it, you get some really nice sounding distortion. I'm not sure what type of distortion circuit is in here, but it has like a smooth top end. It's not like a harsh kind of distortion. So right now I'm just turning up the delay signal. Let's blast it all the way to the right. This is full delay. Think you would agree that sounds lo-fi? Let's turn the feedback all the way up. All right, let me take the clock out. Maybe I can speed it up faster without the clock input. Well, I mean, I don't think it's... Well, is it broken? Did I break it? I think I broke it. Wait, we're coming back. Here we go. All right, I did not break it. So we learned something together. If you have this module and it stops making sound, turn that feedback down. All right, anyway, back to the demo. Little side quest there. So, delay knob, you know, got a mono delay. In the middle is the reverse knob, and this is a delay, but just backwards. Doesn't that distortion sound cool though? It's very soft. It's a soft distortion. I like it a lot. If you have like if you have a very bright synth voice that you want to kind of mellow it out a bit, this is a good one for that. I think I'm just going to leave the clock source out of here because I feel like when I adjust the delay time, it temporarily changes it, but then it immediately snaps back to what the clock's telling it to do. So I'm just going to leave it unplugged so we can actually have some fun with that. Right now, I just have the reverse turned up. Delay's turned down, and we haven't gone to reverb yet. All right, now we're back to just the regular synth voice. No effect yet. Now let's check out the reverb. So we have a reverb level knob with a nice little skull on it, and a decay time knob. Also notice, before we get there, this is a hold button, or freeze. So you can freeze the reverb wherever it's at. Oh, we'll come back to that, but let's start with just turning up the reverb and see how it sounds. I feel like this module might benefit from a slower sequence. So I'm just going to turn our sequence down to like a quarter of the speed that it's currently at. let's check out. Let me show you the freeze button now. So the reverb is frozen now, which means... Okay, so here's just dry signal. No matter what happens, as long as it's frozen, when I turn it back up, it's going to sound the same. I'm not sure if the freeze also affects the delay. Let's turn that up and see if it's frozen too. No, so the delay is independent of the freeze button. The freeze button is just for reverb. When I toggle the freeze back off, then it'll go back to behaving normally. We have some CV inputs that we can mess with here. There's obviously the tap is the clock source input. Over here is a freeze CV input, which can toggle the freeze on and off. And then these three in the middle here are just CV inputs for the level of delay, reverse, and reverb. I'm going to use this woggle bug, which is a random voltage generator. I'm going to use this to modulate some of the things over here. So while this module is mono, what I like to do is add some stereo delay or reverb from my mixer. My mixer has some built-in effects, and what I like to do is put a little bit of stereo delay on this to just give it some width in the mix. So I'm going to do that now, but just be aware that it's coming from my mixer and not from this module. So now you're hearing this audio, but with a stereo ping pong delay coming from my mixer. And so you can hear how much wider it sounds and gives it a little more depth. I should explain that I've added some modulation to the Pixie. Again, this is the after later clone of plats, whatever. So I'm now modulating the timbre. If we're going to say plats, we have to say timbre correctly, right? Timbre, harmonics, and morph. These are all being modulated by Wogglebug and an LFO that's on another part of my rack. So just so you know, when you hear that, that's the modulation going into the harmonics and some other shit's going on. So that is the Maneco Labs Clusterverb. Really just crazy sounds you can get out of this thing. The combination of the distortion and the delay reverse and reverb, plus with the freeze, like there's no sound going into this now. It's just frozen. So, yeah, I bought it just because it looked cool and did not disappoint. Well, come back next time. We'll check out another module in the rack. Chosen at random. All right, peace out.